All right, there we go. Okay, so hello everyone that's listening. Subs, thanks for the likes, all that kind of stuff, all that blah blah blah. Um, Hopefully this recording actually comes out right. I'm unfortunately not able to have the conversation I was supposed to have with the other gentleman or person, YouTuber, because they got sick, and so we had to kind of postpone for another date. But I still want to have some kind of conversation with somebody because I said I would. And so, thus, I am now having a conversation with my very good friend. One of the very, very, very few people in my life that I actually like talking to and am rather close with and talk to consistently. And as if you're a schizoid yourself, you probably understand that that's not something you do all the time, and it's not with a lot of people. Some of you may have one or two friends like me. That's kind of my situation, and then I have, of course, people that are close as well that are family related, such as like my wife's family and things like that. But as far as non-family, I pretty much have like a very few handful of people I talk to consistently, and this is one of them. So I guess we could just go by just the handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
What if I didn't say anything for like the next 5 minutes and they thought you
well,
were
if
just
you,
talking to yourself?
well then it wouldn't be any different than any of the other recordings I do. So it's not like anybody would really care.
True.
They're not here for you, so who gives a shit?
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're here for you. But anyway, well, they don't even
No,
know who
they're
you are. So
not.
no, they're not. They're not. Oh, that eagle guy in the
Look
corner.
at that chicken guy.
Yeah, it was an eagle. It's America, man. It's an eagle.
Oh,
That's not a chicken. Come on. Anyway,
nah.
so
That's a
we're
chicken.
gonna have just the recording, the live feed of. Look at him go. The live feed. He thinks he's a
That's all I
chicken.
can see now.
Um, the live feed of the current protest going on right now. Just because it's interesting and insane, and we just wanted to have something interesting in the background, so we do. Hopefully, it doesn't like get me flagged or anything. I don't think so. I went with global news, so I didn't want to do any of the other big channels. But plus, we want to
I'd
kind of
like to point
discuss.
out
What's up?
that Bart's also at the rally.
Oh, Bart Simpson is at the rally. I just kind of wanted to have this because it's kind of an important event going on right now. We can probably discuss a little bit about this madness occurring in the world maybe a little later. But for now, I just want to talk more about my friendship with this gentleman and how he may feel about it. I don't know what I'm in for as far as his responses go, but we're going to try to remain civil, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, the first real question I really had was, what do you remember about meeting me, or the first time we had conversations or talked and stuff? And it's been mostly our friendship's been mostly online because of location. Oh wait, the transmission's gone. Well, whatever, it'll come back. It's been kind of a distance friendship, which I probably what made it partially easier for me to become more and more friends with this particular person. But anyway, what memories do you have of when we first started talking and how? And let's try our best to keep any names out.
Hmm. Well, definitely through League.
League of
And
Legends. If you aren't familiar, it's just like basically a game where you competitively play 5 versus 5. It's a pretty big phenomenon. If you don't know about it, you should look it up. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
probably through the other people we play with. And
Yeah.
everyone kind of gets a little extra wiggle room regardless. If
What do you mean
I
wiggle
don't
room?
I have everyone I give everyone a little extra credit regardless. With the people I talk to, your friends, other friends as well, that I'll give them more like clout, I guess. They have more brownie points, like right off the beginning, because usually they're only hanging out with people that I would want to hang out with.
Oh, I see what you mean. So if you already like somebody and then you meet somebody through somebody that you already like, you automatically think, well, they might be okay to be around because they know the person that I like.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That makes sense to me. I see what you mean. So then, what do you remember about like when you first started talking to me or playing with me, like what were your first impressions of my personality or behavior? Do you have any? I mean, if you have any
I would say
recollections, if you have any.
probably. I would say probably honest. Maybe maybe almost dickish.
Well, dickish.
Well, but you are, but
Well, yeah.
it's not something I take personally. Like I know I've
Well, I
heard
mean,
other people
you're a dick, so.
talk. Well, yeah, but like I know I've heard other people complain about you before,
Yeah.
and
Okay, that's
and
perfect. That's very good.
that's not uncommon. You know that as
Yeah,
well.
no, yeah, that isn't uncommon. That's actually what I'm
But that
curious.
stuff doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. That stuff doesn't bother me.
What the stuff that they were complaining about, or the fact that they were complaining?
Both.
Okay, that's what's interesting. So here is definitely not Schizoid himself, but he's got his own
You took a.
his own things going on. Oh, I said your name, motherfucker. All right, I'm gonna
Just
have
what?
to. I'm gonna
You
have.
could
Uh,
timestamp.
I got a timestamp. What's the timestamp right here? I'll figure it out. I'll just go through it and then I'll just. I said his name just now, and I'm an idiot, and that's the whole point. There has to be something I could call you.
Secret.
Yeah, Sequits. So I just call you Annie?
Yeah.
Okay, Annie it is. And then I'll just have to take that little. There you go. Oh, by the way, he likes to burp often, so if you don't like burps, oh well, deal with it.
Oh, can you hear my vape too? I don't know.
I don't care. Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm so used to it, I just kind of drowned it out at this point. And who doesn't vape? I mean, you're already a douchebag. You might as well vape. So, what was I? Oh yeah. What I wanted to ask you further. Okay, you don't have to do it that loud. What I wanted to ask you further was, what are some of those complaints like that you would get from other people? That you didn't, you said you didn't really care, but what sort of complaints would you hear from? Because I do remember we used to kind of play with more people all the time, like a few friends of yours on your end and other people's friends and stuff like that. What sort of complaints would you get regarding me and my behavior, or what have you?
It's the standard. I think you were talking just what was on your mind, and whatever it was, and it probably came off as being dickish, or
Do you remember
maybe
any in particular examples?
no, there's countless, but
Oh, man.
I'm sure
'Cause
there's countless, but
I can think of one in particular. Um,
which one?
I remember one in which I had made a comment of some kind regarding someone's family member making too much noise or something in the background, or I made some kind of joke or comment, and that ended up being an issue with someone.
That I can only see that being an issue if that person was already like annoyed with you.
They probably were at some point, but I think I had annoyed this person a few times. Maybe during
That's what I'm
gameplay.
saying.
Yeah, and I always wondered like what in particular was annoying about my behavior, and if it had anything to do with my personality disorder or not.
I mean, there's lots of times where you could when people don't actually like know you, you can come off like very arrogant, I guess. But I guess it's not really. I mean, I guess it comes off that way to like normal people, maybe, or
Arrogant how?
it
Like,
might
what is
pop
the?
up that
That's what
way.
I want to know. What do you mean by like arrogant? Like, what is the arrogance that they're perceiving? You think? Because a lot of
Maybe
schizoids feel
it's
this way. Like
probably
a lot of schizoids get this complaint that
it's
they're.
probably related to the topic, like whatever the topic is that you guys are talking about, or whatever's going on. Like there might be, you might just be a little. It might sound like it's arrogance, like with. I think it's another thing too, because it's confidence too. Like you're confident in what you're saying, so confidence
But is
can
there a
be
possibility that I
portrayed
am
as
being arrogant?
arrogance. Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
you're
I
you're
mean, because that's the thing.
you're
Schizoid
dumb
is
as fuck.
well, yeah. Thank you. But I mean, I guess that's why we're friends. But what I, jeez, what was I gonna say? That arrogance. Do you think it's a combination of just like that weird inability to pick up on like social cues? Because like a lot of schizoids talk about that. A lot of schizoids I've seen mention that other people think they're assholes. Some of the female schizoids I've talked to have said that people think they're bitches or stuck up bitches and things like that because of the way they speak, because of the flat affect, because they just say what's on their mind without worrying too much about a lot of you know they just speak what honesty or what comes to them logically or rationally or whatever. And do you think it might have something to do with that, or am I just an asshole?
Probably both.
Do you think a little bit of both?
No, I think it's just the directness. Probably most
Mm.
people, most normies running around, they don't want to hear what they want to. Everyone wants to hear what they want to hear, regardless of what it is and how unbiased you are. Like everyone has a little bias towards
Mm.
everything, and
But would you
a
say I
lot
want to
of
hear what I want to hear, or you?
mm, no, I don't think so. I
Because I
mean,
have noticed that we both
we disagree on lots of stuff,
yeah,
or have different views on lots of
but
stuff,
we
but we also agree on a lot of stuff.
yeah, but what I mean is that I feel like well, at least in my case, I'm not sure if you would say so, but I feel like I like being approached with information that runs contrary to any established belief or like idea I have. I like conflicting um, information. Like I like
Well,
stuff
that's the
that ruins
difference
my
between
day. I guess I would say.
yeah, yeah. That stuff's the funnest.
Because I've noticed I gravitate toward things like that, like and I do fall into the same trap of like affirming my beliefs or thoughts on things, but I also enjoy stuff that kind of tries to deconstruct or take apart the stuff that I take for granted or believe, because I notice that I have a tendency to change my perspective on, like I adapt to whatever information is available to me, and then if something contradicts what I initially thought about something, then I easily just move in the other direction. Like I don't really try to put up too much of a fight when it comes to like holding down a specific belief about something. If new information is presented that contradicts it, and I
I would
feel like
say you're way better at doing that than a lot of the general public, and probably in the schizoid like community. I don't know,
well
like
maybe I don't
probably
know
like that.
because from what I've seen, a lot of schizoids are like this. We don't really hold on to any particular view on anything if information is presented that contradicts it or changes it, like because we're not like emotionally attached to any specific views on things. Like we don't get as attached to views, and I think I mean my guess is part of the problem is that people stick to their views regardless of whatever information is provided because they have an emotional attachment to it.
That's
And
what usually would trigger the automatic dick response when they hear someone like you or me say something.
that doesn't sound
That's
copacetic with their normal, you
no,
know,
I don't know. In my case, it's weird though
because you
because
get in trouble for
like
this
in
sort of
my
stuff too, but it's a little different, I'm sure.
it's well, people like really like me when I tell them this stuff or when
Yeah.
I say what's on my mind. Like I could see the difference between like when well, I don't know. Maybe I can't see the difference totally when you tell someone something and between like my wife when she says something to someone. But I know when I say something to someone and I'm actually speaking my mind, it could be horrible. It could be the worst stuff ever. But I think they know I'm being honest about it, maybe, or maybe they feel comfortable with me,
I
and
I
they don't take it wrong.
yeah.
They don't see me as a dick usually. Usually,
It's interesting because I've kind of dealt with similar phenomena with certain people, but only people that can, like yourself, and there's another friend that I've mentioned before, but I had worked with him when I worked at the sex shop place, and they picked up on that, and I had asked them a long time ago what it is about my company or the way I communicate stuff that they appreciate or that they like. Like, why does it to continue discussing things with me? And they told me that it's the sincerity.
That's the
Uh,
biggest. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
biggest thing.
that's
Yeah, I
that's
think
what
when
I was
people are
told
able
by
to tell
them.
that, it's better.
Yeah, and I guess the only people that have, I guess, appreciated the honesty or whatever you want to call it, because I feel like honesty or the word honesty implies that like I have to make an effort to be honest, or like like you actually have to make a conscious effort to be an honest person. But I don't see it like as a moral virtue or anything. You get me? Like I don't see myself as being so great because I'm honest. I don't. I just see it as, well, why not be? Because I don't understand, outside of an emotional argument, I don't understand the purpose of the of dishonesty, unless it's for you're trying to get away with something or you're trying to avoid a situation or a problem. Is the stream screwing up?
It looks like it's just lagging on their end.
Oh, just kind of lagging a bit. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry if there's a gap in the recording. One of my kids decided to walk in and tell me about a little kid problem they were having. So that kind of put a gap in everything. But yeah, anyway, we were talking about sincerity and how that functions. And oh yeah, and how, in at least in my case, when I'm being sincere or honest, I don't see it as like I don't have to make a conscious effort to do it. It's just what comes out. But like I also don't see it as some kind of virtuous thing. I just see it as like, why not? This is more efficient. This gets things done. This is faster. Especially when we don't take into account a lot of emotional stuff. And obviously that causes me a lot of problems. And I have to actually make the conscious effort to be dishonest, which is kind of crazy. I feel like,
Well, I definitely know that for sure. Because when I was in the military and the last job I was at, like, you have to lie to everyone in order to keep everyone happy and your bosses happy. And
it's strange, right? It's strange, and like it's not even that
they know you're lying too, but
that's
they
what
want to hear it.
they want to hear, the lies, right? That's what I find so odd. Like when I have to communicate with other people that aren't like myself or aren't as sincere or available to honesty. Yeah, you have to kind of you have to lie a little bit more, and I feel like lying itself is almost considered a virtue, more so than
Also, I want to
honesty.
point out that online conversations and in person obviously will give you a different results to how you're perceived by other people too. So
Well, oh yeah, because of the intimacy of being in person to person situation.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
because like if you see someone in person, I mean, obviously you can see if they're lying to you, or even if you're saying something that's dickish, if you're saying it to them in
oh,
their
because
face
of
and
the
you're
nonverbal
smiling,
communications, the nonverbal
yeah,
communication, right? They see your smile, they see your hand movements, they see your posture, your behavior, and then how that is conveyed changes compared to like this where we can't see each other.
like for me, so I guess when we started talking, just blunt honesty works better for me in general. So it's that's how I'm able to determine, like, oh, okay, this guy's cool, or like I can trust this person.
And what would you say that you started figuring out, like, oh, I can trust this guy? Because I haven't always been
I don't
diagnosed.
really
Since you met
know.
me, like, it's not like I came up to you and said, "Oh, hey, I have a personality disorder, and this is what it is," or anything. You just, it wasn't something that was explained. It was just something that
Oh,
you
all
learned
my friends
about me.
are. Everyone I know is a weirdo. So, and I am a weirdo. So that wasn't a problem.
Do you
As
think?
long as we were cool to each other, like we weren't screwing each other over in any weird way for no reason. Like I was like, all right, cool. Now you're part of the crew.
Yeah, I see that. How do you deal with dishonesty when you pick it up or when you know it's there from someone that you already say enjoy their company?
Mm, I usually get rid of them.
So when you,
It just depends on how severe the dishonesty is. If you're saying like, "Hey, you don't look fat," then I'm not going to be like, "Get out of my life."
oh, okay. So if they're like you're handsome, you stop talking to them.
Yeah.
Okay, that that makes sense.
Liar, liar.
I'm ugly. But okay, but okay, so that makes sense to me because one of the issues with Schizoid PD is that we're often, not all of us, but often many of us are susceptible to manipulation and control by others because we don't have. I feel like we don't have the normally like we have to make the conscious effort to detect dishonesty. Like we have to kind of think about when it's
You're on your
occurring.
toes more.
Well, we have to be because if you're not, I don't think a lot of schizoids are set up to pick up dishonesty because we don't see a purpose in it, and we don't see why other people would need
Ah,
to do it and what that would accomplish. But because the reasons for them doing those things are generally emotional, and so because of that, I think a lot of schizoids get manipulated because they tend to be very passive and uncaring about situations around them. And then on top of that, they don't go into it believing that dishonesty is just like like it's that's more common than not because the motivators for being dishonest aren't as prevalent within a schizoid. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
schizoids don't have as many reasons, emotional reasons to be dishonest. And the only time I feel like the dishonesty that I've partaken in is the masking when I would do that for many years, where I would lie about my behavior by pretending I was someone I wasn't in order to achieve goals, in order to attain friendships that I didn't necessarily want, but that were convenient because either it was the place I worked or where I went to school and things like that. Like I had to be
No,
charismatic,
that makes
and so
sense.
that's essentially the type of lying that I will definitely say I'm taking part in significantly. Or if say I
Well, you
know,
have to. Everyone has to for that. Like we always had to put on the show depending on what scenario we're in. Like we can't expect to keep a job
yeah.
and and just say whatever you want. I mean, I did, but then I left.
I mean, and that
And
makes sense because like okay, because I mean when you say that. I think about civility. So I believe in civil behavior, meaning you can't go around just being rude as fuck to everyone. But I don't consider, say, using profanity or saying off-color jokes and things like that. I don't really consider that as rude behavior, as long as it's not really directed at any particular person or you're trying to insult them in some legitimate, like an actual way, like you're trying to hurt or insult them. If you're being civil and polite, I don't give a shit what most people say. And I
yeah, if you're
think
just being a kind person in general, but also saying terrible things that you think are
yeah,
funny,
who cares,
they do
right?
too. They do too.
And I
But they'll lie about it.
like because you said that you have to lie to almost everyone to a certain point, like sugarcoat or lie. And I mean, at least in my experience, and maybe other schizoids and stuff, I don't feel like we ever need to be lied to because we prefer no lies because we don't. We want all the information in order to process it, internalize it, and then kind of make a decision based on that information. I don't think we have any need to be lied to as much because of our lack of emotional connection to so many things, or maybe our not lack, because I don't like saying lack of emotional connection, maybe our different way of connecting to things.
Yeah, it's just different because
It's
I wouldn't talk to you or like I wouldn't talk to you at all if I thought you didn't have like any type of emotional connection to what we were talking about, or like just to me, or to whatever the topics are, like
Yeah,
if I didn't think you actually cared, then like
yeah.
I probably wouldn't talk to you.
Well, I mean
Because
that
then
would
you're
make
not
sense. So
like
I'm
part of
just
the
wasting
crew.
your time, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a
And for me,
sounding board at
I
that point.
only have close friends that I trust. Like I don't keep a lot of I have a lot of acquaintances, but the only reason they're even considered acquaintances is because they have the potential to move up to the next level where I can fully trust them.
And you have no
And
problem letting new people into your life as long as they present themselves as such, or as long as you detect no dishonesty or things like that, right? Like, do you
yeah,
care?
they have to pass the
Like,
test.
do you purposely? Because I do this. I purposely kind of limit myself to how many people I really actually want near me. I don't want very many people near me, and I keep it that way, and I prefer it that way. But what I'm asking you is, do you care about how many new people enter as long as they're
I don't have a limit on it,
like people
but I am
you're willing
very
to
bad.
know, or
No,
be
there's no limit. I could be around like if we had everyone that I know right now, like including you, including other people we know and stuff. I'd probably have like maybe 40-ish people, or
Jesus,
like
I can't even
50-ish
imagine.
people.
I can't even imagine having that many people. Holy shit. That
That's a lot.
No, that's not. I'm pretty
That's
sure that's probably
excluding
normal.
family
Is
too.
it?
That's
Because
excluding family.
there's a I'm trying to remember. There's a number. There's a specific number of people that
It's a
human being can know.
Dunbar's
Yeah, there
number.
you go. Right, Dunbar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think it's like 300 and something.
I'm wondering if Dunbar is like somehow limited or changed within the Schizoid. Like, I wonder if that number changes or alters. Like, as far as, can we actually keep track? Can a Schizoid keep track of just as many people as a regular person? Can they
Well, I
actually,
don't think it's keeping track. I think I mean,
or
everyone's
no, or
clearly
no?
able to. I
I'm
think it's just
wondering.
maybe a draining issue thing, because my wife has the same issue where she can only be around like, maybe one or two people at a time before she's like physically and mentally drained from the interactions and stuff. So maybe there's maybe there's still background noise and processing that you're not really paying attention to, that just being around more than whatever your number is of people that you would want to be around, if you add another person into it, now you're overclocking. So
Yeah, it's almost like a RAM issue.
yeah, you're running out of RAM like real quick.
Yeah, so we're just low RAM garbage.
Now for me, it doesn't bother me at all. Like I don't my biggest problem is I'm bad at keeping in touch with people. Even though I have people from high school messaging me or talking to me, I don't even remember them.
No, I don't
But
remember a lot of them either, for obvious reasons, and I don't care to. That's the thing.
like I don't remember them at all, and they're telling me about stuff we had done together like daily for like months that we did during that time frame, and my memory's just bad. But I'm also bad at like keeping in touch with everyone that is in my circle of people that I
but
know.
I do notice that you don't have any trouble keeping in touch with me, though. You usually report whatever bullshit pops into your head daily to my
That is true.
So I don't. Well, but that might just be because of I guess I'm on the one of the highest tier bubbles for you, or areas. So maybe it has something to do with that.
I think so, and I think like, well, and there's more ideas that we could bounce off of each other right now and stuff, and everyone else has a lot of other stuff going on where they're just busy. Everyone's busy. Me and you are busy, but like,
yeah, definitely.
There's stuff that we could bounce off each other that would help in the near term.
Do you think
and
it's
hopefully in the long term.
that honesty thing, where like, because you don't have to worry about me being like, you can bounce information off of me without worrying that I'm gonna give you a bullshit or I'm gonna give you a nice answer.
Well, that helps a lot.
Because I mean, if you present something to
That's
me and I
definitely a
think it's
benefit.
trash, it's trash. Like if you like draw a picture and you're like, "Oh, isn't it great?" I'd be like, "No, that looks like shit. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?" Like, and I think, but then vice versa, you appreciate me telling you that it looks like shit.
Oh yeah, I don't get mad. Like I might call you an idiot or something stupid, or might throw something at you from my house. But
Well, I don't know how you would throw it from there, but yeah, sure.
well, I'll hit someone.
Just hit your wife with something. For
Someone's getting
demonstrating.
hit.
Someone's getting hit. Okay, that's funny. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I don't really have any questions outside of that pertaining to us. I just kind of wanted to. The reason I wanted to ask questions like that was maybe just in case other people like myself or similar people have also very few very close friendships. Maybe they could relate to the way you feel about our friendship and the way we interact. Because I wouldn't say you're neurotypical, but you're definitely not schizoid. You're all kinds of other shit, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know what I am, man. I don't care.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't really care, and it's really funny.
It's working so far.
The apathy is working thus far, right? Anyway, okay. So moving on from that kind of shit, real quick here. What do you want to? What would you like to say about the stuff we're seeing on the screen at the moment? Like just this nonsense that we're enjoying. How do you perceive it? Because the way, okay, because in my perspective, like it looks like it's lagging. Is it lagging on your end? Like, is it getting choppy?
I think it was just their feed.
That's probably just the feed.
My internet's perfect. So
I know your internet's perfect. Yeah, mine is far from perfect. So if there's any issue with the video, it's because of me, definitely. Did you pause it? Looks like
I
you.
guess we'll just scroll up a little bit.
Oh, well, there you go. Is this actually live?
I had to scroll it back a little bit because it was not like it was showing like choppiness like this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So that way it kind of okay. Okay, but in any case, the way I see a lot of these like really grand events such as this, like whether it's this takeover of Capitol Hill and such, is I don't really perceive them as any kind of particularly like significant event for humans. I kind of just see it as more like, oh, this is important right now to people, and this is what's occurring, and this has occurred in many variations and many times before. And I'm pretty cynical, so I don't really perceive this as making any kind of big impact outside of like maybe a social one or one that's that it makes people feel empowered in some way or another. But I don't think this is going to actually alter anything in the favor of the average person. I don't think this is going to change anything, to be honest. And that's not to say that that's bad what they're doing. I just don't care. I don't think that it's going to alter our, well, it might alter some of our futures, but our local futures for generations to come or anything like that. I mean, what do you think about something like this? Like, what do you see when you see just a mass gathering of people with flags and trying to express their anger or whatever?
It's WWE. It's Vince McMahon's wet dream. That's what this is.
Is that how you see it? Like a stage
That's
show?
how I see it. It's pointless. It's pointless. It does nothing. If they actually wanted to be doing stuff, they would be burning everything down around them.
Watch it. Yeah, theoretically, right? In Minecraft.
Theoretically.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft, they'd be doing that.
In Minecraft.
But this doesn't do anything. This literally does. Everyone's just patting themselves on the back for standing on some steps. And even the ones that are doing stuff, like they we're probably going to do that anyway. So like, I don't think they might have, maybe they were on the fence about doing something crazy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they did it.
It
But
sucks
this
because the
doesn't change
stream looks
anything.
like I'm not getting. Is it all blurry for you? The stream?
Yeah.
It's like
Hold
crazy
on.
blurry,
Let me see.
huh?
Let me go to the
See if you
live.
can mess with it a little bit. It just looks
Let
like
me
a
go to the
blurry
live.
mess. Uh-oh.
This is
That's a
the
little
hot
better.
take.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. It looks like it settled down since the earlier, huh? So,
Yeah, I
so,
think so.
so, so, do you see this as like an exercise in futility? Like, is this just them like feeling better about like they're doing something?
These are the Whole Foods customers that come in and want a gluten-free drink or no organic orange juice, but then they add 20 different things to it that doesn't make it organic.
So, would you say that they're? I mean, because I see what you're kind of saying. Because these are supposed to be Trump supporters, right? Like people that are angry about the election results and also angry about any kind of fraud that they're claiming or all that kind of stuff, right? So, but what's interesting is that do you feel like some of these people come from the same financial maybe sector or class that the other protesters, like say the Antifa and the thing like that, are coming from? Are they the same
No, they're
type
two
of people?
different. Well, you gotta
Because you
think
said
about
Whole
who
Foods.
is.
You said these are the Whole Foods customers. So are we talking? Are these the same middle class, but just on opposite political?
It's hard to tell because no one has jobs right now, so everyone has a lot of free time. And regardless of what anyone says, people want that extra stimulus boost. They want the extra unemployment pay. If you don't have a job, you want all that. So political beliefs kind of go out the window the second that happens. And like I've said before, people always vote with their pocketbook. If you can't afford food or rent or electricity,
Yeah,
you're
nothing else.
you're only gonna care about the person that's gonna offer you that.
Correct. Absolutely.
So
And
what?
go
So
ahead.
what are these people then? What these people are out here? What are they? Are they only protesting the election, or are they also protesting against the stimulus?
That's true.
There's
Very good
probably
point.
half and half in there.
I know.
Like,
I did see interestingly. Okay. Oh, by the way, the reason I'm bringing up all this stuff is because I kind of want to. I don't know if it's a schizoid thing for myself, but the way I perceive a lot of these sort of events is away from the emotional connections that many of these people have with what's happening, right? So whether you hate Trump or whether you love Trump, whether you hate capitalism, whether you love capitalism, whether you love your corporations, you hate them, whatever. Regardless of that, the
that.
emotional
Look
what the
at
shorts.
those gams. Look at those gams.
regardless regardless of the emotional connection that people have, like I don't really get those emotional connections to my political or beliefs regarding my reality and my society and things like that. I don't get those emotional connections. So I feel like a lot of schizoids have a similar perspective to me and you, which is we just see a bunch of like humans going crazy about stuff they don't really know what's causing it, or what it's doing to them, or how they're being manipulated, or how they're being how a lot of this is being manufactured, a lot of this is being astroturf, propaganda is being hit by how the financial world affects all of this. Like there's a lot of factors that they're not taking into account because they're so busy with their emotional their emotional how do I preoccupations with what's happening.
Yeah, I mean everyone chooses a side, regardless. Like everyone's gonna lean one way or another
You say
with certain topics.
everyone, but but is it really everyone? Because like I rarely see you do that yourself. Like I always notice
Well,
it.
I always lean to the more money.
Yeah, I know
I
that's true. You
always lean
do,
to the
you
more
do. But
money.
you lean toward what is the most beneficial to yourself and the people you care about. That's basically
in money wise, yes. I don't care about. I don't care if we have to do mandatory vaccines or if we have to do mandatory boot camps where we're learning every gender pronoun, as long as they're paying us to do that. So like, I
okay,
do
so you'll sell your soul for $1. That's fine. But
basically.
yeah, and what's interesting,
And well, because this is where I've brought up before constantly is if you get to that certain magic number of money or assets, you free yourself from a lot of this. So you get a pass on
you
almost
won't
all
have to
this
be
stuff.
one of these people protesting about anything, right?
Yeah, because
Like
what
whether
like
you're on
everyone's
the left or
protesting.
the right, you wouldn't be out there protesting because you have the financial resources to and the assets to avoid this entire conversation.
You're with Matt Damon on the Elysium ship, and you're Asian girl now. And yeah, who cares? Who cares what the poor people are doing down there? I'm turning into an Asian girl.
Even though we're both poor people, right? Right now.
Yeah.
Your goal in life is to eventually reach a point in which you can say, I don't care about all those poor people.
Yeah. Yeah, look. I'm in a
Hey,
spaceship.
this-
Fucking suckers.
You can stay away from the bread and circuses and such.
Yeah,
And-
because even the stuff that we're worried about right now, like possible crazy great reset laws that are going to be coming in, all that's avoided when you have that certain amount of wealth or assets or passive income coming in. If you have that, then it excludes you from having. Lots of people are worried because you're going to go to work and you're going to have to get a mandatory vaccine most likely at some point. That may be on YouTube as well. Like they may have a checkbox. If you don't have that checkbox that you got a vaccine, you might not be able to upload anything. So you got to find ways at some point to earn your own income outside of that system, so you don't have to play by its rules.
Because then, if you have the financial resources and assets, you won't have to take the vaccine if you don't want to.
Exactly.
Because people with enough money can say, "Fuck you, I don't want to take it."
Yep.
And nobody will bat an eye.
No one will care. You're on a spaceship.
Or they can pretend like they can pretend like they did take it. Or otherwise.
Well, that's the other thing too.
Regardless of your belief when it comes to vaccines, I'm not saying neither here nor there. It wouldn't make a difference if if you reach a certain financial level.
Yeah.
Like it stops mattering. That's interesting to me. That's really interesting.
Well, because if we look at I literally wake up every day stressed about where the next big money play might be and how I can possibly get it. And because I don't want to just do it, like obviously I'm thinking about number one, that's me, but I want the whole crew to come along for the ride. I want all my family members to come along, but the people I care about, they're all family. So everyone's family to me in that kind of way.
I definitely don't have that wide of a circle at that level that you're describing, but it's interesting that you do. And I don't think I could ever really fathom how you perceive such a large amount of people that you care about, or caring for that many people is just a dizzying concept to me.
Oh, it's miserable though.
I'm sure it's kind of
because the more I think, the more I broaden my scope out of my view, like my life, the higher that asset level has to increase. I'm not even to the point where I can do it for myself yet. So it's pretty.
I understand.
It's pretty crazy.
And what's funny is that I highly disagree with some of your views as far as like when it comes to like assets being the end all of everything. I don't really perceive it that way. But but that's fine with me. Like that's what I kind of like.
That's what. Like when we first met, I wasn't thinking that way at all.
No, you really weren't. Well, you weren't thinking about anything.
No, was retard.
No,
I'm
well,
still
you
a
were just
retard.
you were just doing your own thing. You were just kind of like playing video games and not worrying about whatever, and just kind of living day to day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like everything started, getting a little extra crazy in the last couple of years that you started becoming more aware of where you stand in all this and how you want to change that. I'm guessing.
I would say the worst thing that could possibly happen is in another 5 years, I'm still saying I gotta get to that point,
Yeah. Well,
and
and you haven't
I'm gonna
moved.
be really pissed that I learned anything about finances and how the economy works and how the global economy works.
So
I'm
basically,
gonna
you're
be
saying
really pissed
that
because
you
this is
learned.
a slap in the face.
You'd be really upset about learning all that stuff because then you just wasted your time because you could have just been playing video games since it would have been worthless anyway.
Yeah.
And I see what you mean when it comes to the this idea of like you don't care about the mandatory vaccines, you don't care about this or that, or if they put us in boot camps, and I don't agree with you. I definitely don't agree with you, but I can understand why you would feel that way because you're basically saying that if it's going to happen because all the people with the money and the power that want it to happen will make it happen, and there's nothing we could really do to stop it. We could just pretend like we think we're stopping it, or we think we're slowing it down.
The only way to stop it is to become one of the people that make the rules like that to some extent, or at least to get on their level of income.
And then maybe just
If we
open the
could get
right
on that,
doors, let the floodgates open, and just let some
yeah,
chaos reign for a bit.
yeah.
And I
As
think
long as
there
we're
are
on the
people in
spaceship,
those.
man, that's all we gotta do.
As long as you're on the spaceship. All right, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about today, and hopefully this didn't go too long, and hopefully I didn't take up too much of your time. But yeah, and
I
it's
don't
not
do
like
nothing.
yeah, you're right. It's not like your time is worth much anyway. My own is not worth any more than yours, and both our time is worth nothing. So there you go. 0 + 0, right? Equals nothing. So, all right. Well, thank you for talking with me. Thank you for discussing the topic myself, and as well as all this current silliness. I'm wondering what they're talking about right now. They're probably telling everyone to stop going bananas, but they're not. That's what's funny.
Nah.
They keep telling everyone to stop going crazy, but they don't really do anything to keep people calm and not be crazy. They're nothing. They're
All I can tell
accomplishing nothing.
you
They're
is,
accomplishing nothing to make people feel secure. And they're because honestly, just very quickly, I understand why these people are upset because our system of voting and election and all that, just like so many other aspects of the state, are full of corruption, are full of nonsense, are full of manipulation, and that's what these people are ultimately angry about. And
but
that,
this is
and
what pisses me off though the most. Why haven't they been? Why hasn't this been happening
for a
for?
long time, yeah, exactly. It took
Everyone's just jumping on the hype train. They don't. No one. I won't say no one cares, but like
no, there's people that care.
maybe they do care, but like.
But they only care now because it's because of the current situation, state of affairs.
Red
Because
versus
right
blue,
now,
they
and
just
also
want to
because they
join
don't
the
have their
teams.
money, they don't have jobs, they don't have money, because they like you mentioned, the resources that they normally had or want to possess are now lacking, and so that motivated them to actually do something about it. But before, when all this stuff was still occurring, and they were getting maybe some of the stuff they wanted, at that point they weren't willing to complain or do any of this because they were financially okay, right?
Yeah, or
Because
at
they
least
weren't hurting
to
or they
their
had a job.
version of okay.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
now that they're hurting, now they're doing this. When when things like this, perhaps if they wanted to accomplish something, needed to be done years ago.
Yeah.
When things were better. This sort of stuff needs to happen when things are better, not when things are at their worst. Because at that point, it's too late.
Well, then you just see violence at this point because now everyone's at their max level of hate
And aggression,
and aggravation.
and frustration and such. Okay. All right. Well, in any case, we'll talk again some other time. It's good combo. Thank you.
Bye bye, love you.
Love you too, man.